Hello, everyone. This is Simone from Epica, symphonic metal band from the Netherlands.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Your upcoming album, Aspiral, is described as a reflection of your band's growth and journey. How would you say Aspiral marks the next step in Epica's evolution?
I think every album, and especially this one, kind of means like a fresh start. Um, Musically, personally, uh, on a constant journey to strive for a better version of yourself.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And the album title is inspired by I'm going to say this wrong, Stanislaw Szukalski's bronze sculpture. How did this artwork influence the music or the overall theme of the album?
Well, you pronounced it perfectly. Um, yeah, that's actually a funny coincidence of like a series of events. It started in 2022 when Rob told me to watch a documentary on Netflix about the artist and that he had scheduled a meeting with the two lovely people who made the documentary and also are, how do you say, the keeper of his art, the guardians, or, I don't know the official name for that. And I watched the documentary, loved it, felt moved, inspired by it, and went with Rob to visit uh, Glenn and Lena. Those are their names. And funny, Glenn is American, but his wife, Lena, she's Dutch. So that was really nice. She
Yeah.
was happy to speak a little Dutch with us and have some Dutchies on her couch. And we got to admire a lot of Sokalski's art in the flesh. And Rob told me that he feels very inspired by the art and would like to compose music for it. And not necessarily for Epica, but maybe for another project. So fast forward to us being in a writing camp location for this album. We scheduled 3 weeks, like separate from each other, in a really beautiful location where we could totally dive into the writing of the new album without the distractions of touring or housekeeping, family life. And every band member played the songs, the demos that they've been working on. And Rob had a couple of songs, but also one song which was called Aspiral. He showed it to us and we loved the song. So we thought it could also be really great for Epica. So we decided to include it for the album. And as we were progressing with lyric writing, Mark and I both divide up the lyrics. We kind of could see a little bit the pattern of this rebirth, renewal, um, self discovery, and that was a little bit a recurring topic in some of the lyrics. Um, then when we came to the discussion, how shall we call the album? Which song is going to be the album title? And we all felt a very strong connection with Aspiral. So yeah, this is probably a very clear example that art inspires art. And it's the first time for me that I wrote lyrics that were inspired by sculpture, but the message behind it is very beautiful and something we all could connect with, being at several different stages of our lives, going through personal struggles, whether and beautiful things as well. So each album is a little bit like a timestamp of our lives and what's going on in the world. And we thought that the spiral and encapsulated that really beautifully.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think it's really interesting that you guys did take an art piece, as you said, and the art influenced your own art. That's really, really interesting.
Yeah, and on top of that, the graphic designer, who is also like a multi-talented artist, and the sculptor himself has also been greatly inspired by Stanislaw Szukalski in his career. So
Yeah.
that was a beautiful coincidence in a way, and I think probably meant to be that we all kind of crossed our paths a couple times in our lives. And I already asked him to do the artwork from my solo record Vermilion, and I was very pleased with the end result. He also worked for Parkway Drive and Ghost and has worked with Rammstein before and is very talented. And he really fit to the message of the album and our vision of what we wanted to do with Epica going forward.
Yeah, and you just mentioned as well before the writing camps that you guys had. How influential were those writing camps? Were they, did you find really positive to do those?
Yes, very much so. I mean, all of us have a different working style and a workflow. But due to the fact that we live in 4 different countries, it's very logistically challenging for us to find time to meet up and do these writing camps. But we started doing that with Omega, and we really loved that we were in the same room because you come to totally different end results when you have that instant communication and
Yeah.
creative interaction. You come to totally different results and you have much faster results, and you can inspire each other, you can feed off each other, and you can also really get into the creative flow. So I think it was definitely very beneficiary for us to do it this way, and we had 3 sessions, each lasted a week. And we had breakfast together. In the evenings we cooked together, and overall the vibe was really nice. And it was just great to not be distracted by anything else and just really concentrate on writing new music.
Yeah. Also, these camps were, you guys were together. I thought it was you guys were isolated from each other.
No, no, it was like a really big holiday villa,
Huh.
and with many different rooms, so we could set up our own home studios. But we had one main base where a producer was also present, so I could sit down with the producer and then the composer of the song that we were working on to come up with vocal lines and change the structure of the song. And each other band member could then also dedicate their time to give the song what it needed, with their instrument, whether that be orchestration, keyboards, piano, bass, drum programming, guitars. So it was definitely a very musical house during that week.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And no distractions, like you said. I like that idea.
Yeah, yeah, it's lovely. I mean, we have in the past learned from that our hectic schedule hasn't always been very fruitful for us, when it comes to writing music, and also the constant uh, pressure of doing everything at the same time is not good. One for me, it's best to focus on one thing, and we've tried to fit too many things in very short time frames, and we just learned from that experience, and yeah, find it very invigorating and inspiring to do it like this, which is actually sounds very logical for other bands that meet up and play songs together. But we decided all, like, with the exception of 3 band members, to move or to live in a different country.
Yeah.
So we cannot meet up like many other bands that live in the same country or even city.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. And you've traveled so many places around the world. What's been the most unexpected or memorable fan interaction you've had during your tours?
I always feel very moved when I get to meet fans one on one and see, or when they tell me how much the music meant to them. And that is like the greatest compliment you can get, because the music that we write, the lyrics, it comes from personal experiences. It comes from your, creative DNA in a way. It's part of you. So it's the best compliment when somebody connects to that. And I had once an encounter with a father who brought his teenage son at a meet and greet. And yeah, he was tearing up in front of me, in front of his son, telling me how much the music meant to him, and carried him through a difficult time in his life. And I gave him a hug, because I thought it was beautiful how he opened up, how he was so vulnerable in front of his son.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, and those encounters always, they stay with me. And but seeing people in the audience sing along the lyrics that you wrote, at 4 a.m. when you couldn't sleep,
Yeah.
that's, those are the things that make it worthwhile and very rewarding.
Oh, that's beautiful. Um, and if you could invite any famous personality to join Epica on stage, who would it be and why?
I wouldn't mind if Till Lindemann from Rammstein would join us. I have already had a lot of amazing colleagues in the metal scene join us to sing a song, to play a song with us. Um, yeah, that would be amazing. Or to sing a song with Aurora one day. I'm a big fan of Opeth. Bigger artists. I love Muse. There's so many amazing artists out there. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Sky's the limit. They just need to call me.
Yes,
I'm available.
yes. Good answers, good answers. I'd love to see it one day. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, totally.
And you've toured with Metallica and played some massive shows and toured with some big artists like you just mentioned. How do these high profile performances inspire or influence your band's music or creative direction?
Well, I remember getting the phone call from management, or I had got a message, call me now, and I thought I did something wrong or something horrible had happened. But then he told me like, we can play with Metallica. I just need to know, are you available these days? It's very, last minute. I said, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
And and when we did those shows and we got to meet also the band members in the flesh, and we all some of us probably uh are bigger Metallica fans than others, but I knew Metallica and I know their most famous songs, of course. Um, from my first boyfriend, even, listening listening to the music together, never thinking that, wow, I will ever meet those people one day, or that I would become a musician myself.
yeah,
I was 14 back then. Um, yeah, in the end, they are human just like us,
yeah,
but they are being, put on a pedestal, and people think that they are divine creatures, without human flaws or emotions, but they're just human like us. And I don't get nervous in front of them. Have normal conversations with them, crack a joke, and
yeah,
act act as normal as I can. Of course, I'm
yeah,
not normal, but yeah, that those are always pinch me moments, and I enjoyed those shows immensely. Um, of course, because it was Metallica, but on the other hand, the way the stage was set up was so unusual and so fun in a way that I kind of went back to just the joy of performing and being in the moment than thinking too much about the whole production or choreography of the show. Just running around on that circle stage
yeah,
was a lot of fun. But the amount of people or the scale of a show does not um, how do you say, does not grant you a good show. That's just the energy that's there, the interaction with the crowd. But
yeah,
those were definitely amazing shows.
yeah,
And but I can also enjoy small intimate shows.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
it's all it's all about the moment. But I have met so many amazing artists. I'm very grateful for that. But I see them as I see myself as a human being with good and bad days. And I think that's what also the really big artists appreciate, if you approach them like that and don't fall on your feet and uh, you know,
Yeah.
act as normal as you can.
Yeah, no, definitely. I totally understand. Doing the job I do, it's easy to get starstruck, but then at the end of the day, once you start talking to them and you come back down to earth and realize that they're just human beings, like it, yeah, and you can, if you can crack a joke with them and be normal as you can, it usually sets you up well with them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody loves a good conversation.
Yeah,
about
that's it.
everything. And yeah.
Yeah. This is your ninth studio album, which is often seen as a significant milestone. How does it feel to look back at your journey and see how far Epica has come?
It's quite impressive. Today, I was actually listening to one of the older records, and then it kind of also struck me much, how many songs we have. And funnily enough, if I don't listen to an album years later, I can still sing a, quite a big chunk of the lyrics because it's somehow somewhere stored in my brain. But this job is such a fast pace uh, way of living, and always planning into the far future, planning the tours and all those things that it's often there's no much time to breathe and reflect. But we also recently did the symphonic synergy shows, and with choir and orchestra, we did 2 shows in Amsterdam, 2 shows in Mexico, and we played, yeah, I think songs from all the albums and put them in a little different version.
Yeah.
And yeah, and those moments, I kind of realized like, oh my God, this is my life, and I have um, lived so many dreams came true in that career. And yeah, that's always like a little reality check where you kind of stand still and breathe it in and can be in the moment and time travel a little bit as well.
Yeah.
But I never would have thought, going back to when I listened, for example, to Metallica the first time, 14-year-old, being a huge music fan, I never would have dreamt that I would travel the world. Um, I think I've visited almost 70 countries in my 40 years of living. And yeah, I consider myself very rich in the spiritual sense.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's amazing. That's lovely that you've picked up that attitude too of being rich because you've been able to do that and you've done so much and traveled so many countries and interacted with all these fans and
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah, it's
And
amazing.
given the complexity and ambition of Aspiral, what was the most difficult part of putting together this album and how did you overcome the challenge?
Well, I kind of came directly out of writing and recording my solo album.
Yeah.
So I was at first, of course, worried, do I have enough inspiration left? Do I have enough energy left for this? But the beauty of Epica is that we're a team of 6 people. And then, of course, we have our producer, who we also kind of consider a band member, and a big team behind Epica that carries the weight. We carry it together. And we are a tight ship, I would say. Um, and we have this luxury that we have 5 guys writing the songs so that there's enough inspiration to feed off from. And life's never boring. So I had enough inspiration, and music is in a way therapy for me. I can really pour my heart and soul into it. And yeah, it helped me going through some tough times myself. So it's kind of beautiful that you can really, you know, pour everything in the music and feel kind of cleansed afterwards. Like you're exercising the demons through writing and recording music.
Yeah.
And it's like medicine in a way, and we all need it, and it should be available for everybody. And I'm very happy that I can get pour my heart and soul into the music. And of course, there are songs that come easier to you, and then there are songs where you're really struggling with the lyrics right until you're recording the vocals. So there's no smooth road to the end result, but it's the journey that is definitely worthwhile, and especially the hard work you put into it. Now, we recently sat together in the studio. We came together for doing promo work, but we also listened to the album together as a band, and we were all like kind of moved that we accomplished something like this again, and that you just realize it takes a village to create something like that, and then you set it free into the world for everybody to enjoy.
Really, that's it. It sounds like it was very cathartic for you and everyone else in the band as well. But also
Mm,
the fact that you came from your solo project straight into back into Epica sounds like
yeah,
the load was shared and it wasn't the pressure wasn't all just on you. It was shared between everyone.
yeah, yeah, and we are in a way a family, you know,
Yeah,
and we have a huge compassion for everybody, and uh, our music, we're not a factory, you know, we're human beings, and it's very personal and private also, the and intimate, the writing and recording of an album. The same when you are on tour, when you're playing the songs live, you're living together, you're going through ups and downs together as a band, and we are there for each other, and that's really beautiful. I think with this album we came together a little bit
yeah,
more, you know. Yeah, we
yeah.
bonded more, and the writing camps of course helped, but yeah, we've been together. We've basically been married
Yes.
for 23 years to everybody. You know, it's in a way like a marriage.
Yeah.
It's not a job that you can go to in the morning and go in the evening back home and you can let it go. It's always there in a way.
Yeah, definitely. Good description. And last question, is there any hope of an Australian tour sometime soon?
I hope so. I love Australia. I don't like the spiders though.
No, neither do
Oh
I.
God. I luckily have never had an encounter with one of the uglier bugs. I did meet the
Lucky.
kangaroos and the koalas.
Yeah.
Uh, it's such a bummer that it's such a long way to get there, but we will definitely come back. I hope sooner than later because I love traveling the world, and I really love Australian people. I think you're all really cool people.
We love the Dutch people too.
That's great.
Um,
That's a match.
yeah. Simone, thanks so much for your time today. We hope to see you guys down under soon. Best of luck with everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely day.